Question number 10, Jenny Salesa.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister for Tertiary Education, Skills and Employment, what is the total number of 15 to 24-year-olds not in employment, education or training, according to the Household Labour Force survey released yesterday, and is this an increase or a decrease on the last quarter?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, yesterday's Household Labour Force survey showed the number of 15 to 24-year-old NEETs increased by 3,000 to 74,000, largely driven by those aged 20 to 24. As the member will see from recent quarterly figures, these numbers move around a lot. For instance, in the previous quarter, when the member didn't ask a question, the number of NEETs had dropped by 11,000, which was probably a few too many, actually. And this quarter it's bounced back a bit. The government has a large number of initiatives aimed at this group, which are increasingly successful.
Supplementary question, Jenny Salesa.
Why are 15% of all 20 to 24-year-olds in New Zealand not in education, employment or training, which is 11,000 more than in 2008?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I can assure the member that the government asks the question about what each one of these people are doing, particularly if they're on welfare. As the member will know, there's a wide range of circumstances, but increasingly the government's programs are tailored to local needs. For instance, there are parts of New Zealand where that rate is considerably above average, and we need to tailor our initiatives, for instance, through our regional growth programs, where people with local understanding of industry and job opportunities and of this population of young people can come up with sustainable solutions.
Supplementary question, Jenny Salesa.
Why has the number of 15 to 24-year-olds in Wellington who are not in education, employment or training gone up by 75% on his government's watch?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'm not sure what starting point the member's using, but I can advise her that in Wellington, the youth guarantee and the trades academies have been introduced, creating better and clearer pathways for young people into work. Also, we're now growing opportunities like the ARA hub in Auckland, which is taking the lessons from Christchurch, where we develop better methods of connecting young people to job opportunities and transforming those to Auckland. The government has increasingly fine-grained view of all these young people and have every motivation to ensure that where possible they are connected to job opportunities, because that means that they can avoid what could be a lifetime of dependency.
Supplementary question, Jenny Salesa.
Why has the number of Pasifika youth not in education, employment or training increased by 20% under this government?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, this related to the previous question. One reason would be that in 2009 and 10 there was a significant recession, so the numbers rose fairly dramatically through to 2011, and since then they've been declining. But I'm happy to say to the member and to anyone who's listening, the government is always keen to hear about more and better solutions for young people who are NEETs. And I'm guessing that this week the Labor Party will announce some sweeping sloganeering about young people in work, all of which has been tried before and most of which would fail if they tried to implement it.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Jenny Salesa.
Why did the Deputy Prime Minister label our young people as pretty damn hopeless, and why did the Prime Minister write off our young people as lazy and on drugs?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the member's not quoting what the Deputy Prime Minister said correctly, but the member can be reassured that the government and its agencies, in fact many communities and in fact parents, are making every effort. Of course, this group This group has a wide range of needs. One can't generalise. A significant proportion of them, for instance, are caregivers within their own families. And of course, the choices for them are different from those who, for instance, have a significant disability. And their choices are different from those who are simply taking a year off. That is, not doing anything. And they may, of course, just rejoin the workforce when they feel like it and when there's an opportunity.
Question